What have you done for the past 10 days? Cole Hamels has pitched just 2/3 of an inning since his New York appearance May 27th. Rain has kept Cole on the shelf, waiting to throw. Tonight, the left-hander returns home and returns to the mound where he was so dominant in May. He returns to Citizens Bank Park to shake off the rust and display the results of a good long rest. The good news is the sun has been shining all day long here in Philadelphia. Better news, Cole Hamels is on the mound for the Phils as they wrap up this 4-game series against the San Diego Padres. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Gary Matthews will be here in just a little bit. Well, there are hard luck pitchers and there are hard luck hitters. Cole Hamels, well, he has been a hard luck pitcher when it comes to the weather. More than 3 hours of delays in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, there was rain predicted yesterday. He was glad he wasn't pitching yesterday, even though nothing happened, because he knows tonight is gorgeous here at Citizens Bank Park, Tom, and he will pitch this ball game. Yeah, it has been really tough. Up in New York in that start, he was in a full warm-up, and then all of a sudden the rains came. They had to put the tarp on the field, so he had to shut it down and then start up again. And then, of course, this game in Atlanta, it started in the rain, and he only went 2/3 of an inning. Gloss hit the home run off him. He was really frustrated when he came off the mound. That's what he's done in April and in May. May 27th at New York, he did go 6 1/3 after that double warm-up that night, and that was on 4 days rest going into Atlanta, and now he's on 5 days rest after that game against the Braves. So he hasn't pitched a whole lot. Now, some people in the clubhouse think that's not the worst thing for him because he's not the biggest guy in the world. Sometimes he can pile up innings. He can pile up a lot of pitches. So while they didn't want to see this happen, they're not overly concerned that the rest is going to hurt him.
And the other thing, too, is that he has had an awful lot of success against the San Diego Padres in his career. Must be something about being from San Diego.
Yeah, it's his hometown team. He grew up with the San Diego Padres as his team to watch. A couple of years ago, he had a tremendous start right here in this ballpark against him. Bunch of strikeouts, and you'll see him using his pitches there. Now, he really didn't throw the cutter back in those days. That's a new pitch this year, but mostly fastball, changeup. There's a good double play. And then last year, he was on again in this game in July. Good changeup there. Gets a curveball over. Another fastball right down the middle, and you see Gonzalez having some bad swings at him, and you don't see many bad swings from that guy. He's only lost 1 time to the San Diego Padres, and Chris Young, the big guy from Princeton, beat him 1-0 in the first game of a 4-game series out there. Phillies then went on to win the rest of those games. So, yeah, I think he likes to pitch against the Padres.
Well, the Phillies have taken 2 of 3 from San Diego. They're looking to make it 3 of 4 tonight. One of the reasons why they took 2 of 3 is because of their bullpen. Wade LeBlanc is on the mound for the Padres. Cole Hamels, meanwhile, will make the start for the Phils. And speaking of the Phillies bullpen, well, Brad Lidge has been really good in this series. That's the good news. The hope is he'll be able to save another one tonight against the Padres. Phillies baseball is brought to you To finish up this 4-game series with the San Diego Padres. And prior to the ball game, Wade LeBlanc, the starter for the Padres, well, he was a little late warming up or finishing his warm-up tosses, and the Padres bullpen waited for him before they went into the bullpen. As he went to the dugout, Cole Hamels and Rich Doobie walked in from the Phillies bullpen, and that sun glaring in the eyes of Cole Hamels has got to feel really good considering the rain that he's had to deal with in his last 2 starts, as he'll get a chance to get out there against the San Diego Padres, and he'll do so with the Phillies 2 games behind the Atlanta Braves in the National League East. The Braves will be in Arizona to take on Dan Herron and the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. Derek Lowe will start for the Braves. The Mets are 3 games back. Meanwhile, Florida, which will be in town beginning tomorrow, and Washington pull up the rear. Meanwhile, in the West, well, with the Braves win yesterday, it means the Dodgers are just a half a game back, or I should say with the Dodgers win yesterday, they're just a half a game back of the Padres in the National League West. The Giants are there, 5 games over 500. Colorado still hasn't played its best baseball yet, and they're 4 games back going into action tonight. Well, the only final from this afternoon, the Cubs defeated the Nationals 6-1. Carlos Silva is now 8-0. Now, it's the Cubs and the Pirates, I should say. 6-1 the final score. Carlos Silva is now 8-0 with all the problems that Carlos Zambrano has had. Well, Carlos Silva's kind of picked up the slack, winning 8 games to start the 2010 season. We're going to step aside. The lineup cards are being exchanged at home plate. When we come back, we'll let you know who Ted Simmons and Pete McCannon handed to Jim Joyce. What the Padres are doing. Let's take a look at their lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jerry Hairston. David Eckstad, the second baseman, bats second. Adrian Gonzalez hits third, followed by the cleanup batter, Scott Hairston. Nick Hundley bats fifth. Yorvit Torrealba, the catcher, hits sixth. Oscar Salazar's in left field batting seventh. Chris DeNorfia, the right fielder, bats eighth. And batting ninth and pitching is left-hander Wade LeBlanc. And they will face lefty Cole Hamels, a San Diego native who's making his 12th start overall.
Yeah, he's just happy to get out there tonight. You see his hits per innings pitched are not that good, but walk strikeouts are good. Left-handed hitters, only hitting 143. He really has pitched well this year. His fastball, doing a better job of locating it up and down. And all he wanted to do tonight was warm up, start the game on time, and just go out there and pitch after all the nonsense he's been through his last few times out.
Well, he'll face Jerry Hairston to start this ball game off. And here's the first pitch of the night. And hit in the air to left field. Not deep. Playable for Raul Ibanez. One pitch, one set aside here at the top of the first.
Yeah, on this beautiful night, the wind's blowing in a ton from left to right field. Watching batting practice tonight, it was really knocking it down towards left and left center. The wind has to be out of the northwest. Well, we better see before. Yeah, when it's coming this way, it's out of the west-northwest, 13 miles per hour, 74 degrees. As Tom said, it's just beautiful here tonight. You'll get a little help towards right and right center, and the ball will get knocked down out towards left.
And with one away, David Eckstein is the batter. Eckstein is 3 for 11 in the series. And he takes a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Cole has had a good fastball this year with velocity, but also with very good location. And he's come right out of the chute throwing 3 straight fastballs, which has been the norm for him.
We have 2 left-handers tonight that like to throw changeups, but they have to work off their fastballs. Hamels has a better fastball than LeBlanc.
Toward third base from the bag, Placido Polanco. 2 away. And 2 quick outs.
Another fastball, just coming out trying to establish it, and then use his off-speed stuff later on. But the thing he wants to do more than anything, and has done effectively this year, is establish his fastball and stay with it.
Well, here's Adrian Gonzalez, who has 5 hits and 17 at bats against Cole in his career. Last time out, Cole pitched 2/3 of an inning, allowed 2 hits and 3 runs against the Atlanta Braves, and then the rains came, and he, like everybody else, had to sit through a rain delay of a little more than an hour. Charlie Emanuel decided not to send him back out there, and it was partly because in his previous start, when he pitched against the Mets, he had to sit through a 2-hour rain delay to start the night, and he just wasn't comfortable with sending him out there after sitting for an hour last time and having to sit and wait for 2 hours in the previous start.
Yeah, in the game in New York too, he warmed up. He had a full warm up, ready to go to start the game, sat down, then had to warm up again.
In the air to center field, a liner not hit that deep, and Shane Victorino makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3 top of the first for Cole Hamels. We head to the bottom of the first. It's the Padres nothing and the Phillies coming up. Only from Comcast. Leading it off at center field, Shane Victorino. Placido Polanco bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard, the cleanup batter. Jason Worth is in right field batting fifth. Raul Ibanez hits sixth. And the bottom third of Carlos Ruiz, Wilson Valdez, and Cole Hamels facing left-hander Wade LeBlanc, a 25-year-old from Louisiana who has appeared in 9 games so far this year. 2-4 record. Not a bad ERA, Wheels, but he's been roughed up his last few starts.
Yeah, he's 0-4. He's lost his last 4 starts. He is, as Tom said, out of Louisiana, lives in Baton Rouge now. Scouting report on him, just, his fastball's in the high 80s. He'll use a 4-seam. He likes to use his changeup and cutter a lot, from what we understand. And if you get on first base, look out. He has a very good move, and from what the reports say, he has a step-off move, and he also has another move that's kind of like a balk move. That his times of the plate aren't very good, but he can hold runners on because of those moves.
So he'll face Shane Victorino to start things off. Victorino 5 for 12 in the series, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Shane overall hitting .260 with 9 home runs and 35 runs batted in. Third baseman Chase Headley plays in on the grass. And a line drive base hit it to right center field. Victorino starts the bottom of the first with a leadoff single.
And here to be the first look at his move over there. And I'm sure Davey Lopes and guys like Victorino have talked about it before the game on what this guy can do. Looked at tape on him. But he has a couple pickoffs already, and he will pick you off if you forget about him.
I thought the interesting thing was, Wheels, you mentioned his times to the plate are not great. And then you look at what the opposition's done against him, and you figure, well, there has to be something to it.
Yeah, because it's hard to get it. Well, that's a pretty big lead.
Placido Polanco's the hitter. Polanco hitting .316 this year.
Well, that's nothing. That's just I know you're over there, and you probably heard about my move. Well, I'm going to save my good one. Look at that, 6 pickoffs.
And the opposition just 3 for 10 against him in stealing bases. They move over, and another easy step back to the bag for Victorino.
You talk about deacon somebody.
Shane has stolen 12 bases this year. He's been caught just once. And a fastball at the knees for a strike to Polanco, and it's 0-1. Polanco yesterday in the bottom of the 10th inning was thrown out trying to go from first to third. And he said after the ball game, he said he thought he could make it. I think a lot of folks thought he could make it to third. Tony Gwynn, though, made an excellent throw on the run to nail Polanco. And Pauly said after the game that he would rather be thrown out trying to be aggressive than to be conservative.
Well, the bottom line is a bad play if you get thrown out at third in that, but you and I both talked about it at the time. And Sam Perlaza, it was on his own, and it was a good risk. And everybody says, well, Ryan Howard got a hit after that. Well, who knows if he gets a hit after that with a runner at third base, on first and third. It's a totally different situation with the hitter at the plate and the way you're going to pitch him and approach the at-bat.
0-2 is hit the opposite way, a base hit for Polanco. Victorino had to avoid the ball, so he'll stop at second. Phillies with back-to-back singles, and they've got 2 runners on here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, good job by Polanco. That's one of his specialties, is to hit the ball in the hole like that. But as Tom said, he had to hold up. Victorino had to hold up because the ball was hitting the spot where he could get hit. See right here, he wants to shoot the ball through that area the way he normally does. And he does, but see, Shane has to hold up and let it get past him.
So a quick visit from your Torrealba to Wade LeBlanc. This year, Torrealba has split the time behind the plate with Nick Hundley. But he has caught a majority, more than half of LeBlanc's starts. Here's Chase Utley. See what Chase has done in the series. He's got 2 runners aboard, neither runner being held on, which means it'll be tougher for Chase to get the ball through the hole on the right side. And he takes one on the outside corner. It's 0-1.
LeBlanc loves to use his changeup, but he evidently does not throw it much to left or at all to left-handed hitters. So you can eliminate that as a left-handed hitter and look away for cutter, curveball, fastball.
Lefties have done very well against him this year. They're hitting .327 against him. And Chase serves it in the air to left. Oscar Salazar comes in, and he makes the catch. So 1 away, and Victorino goes back to second. Polanco to first.
That was the cutter, and you can see him moving away from Chase Utley, and I don't know, it just kind of fooled him, it looked like. See Torrealba set out away, and the ball had just a little bit of bite to it, and that was a cutter as opposed to a slider or a curveball.
So Chase is retired. LeBlanc is a college pitcher. He was drafted by the Padres out of the University of Alabama in the 2nd round of 2006. He spent 3 years at Alabama. In fact, his final year, he went 11-1 with a 2.92 ERA in the SEC. And he delivers a fastball outside to Ryan Howard. It's 1-0.
He has to pay attention to Victorino. This is the time where you can steal third. Of course, you want to make sure you make it. But the third baseman, Headley, is way away from the bag. And this guy is slow to the plate. Not that guy. Torrealba has a good arm, but the pitcher is slow to the plate.
There's a changeup that's swung on and missed by Howard, or I should say curve, and the count is 1-1. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Neil Hipser of Stowe, Pennsylvania. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Neil will win $200. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Ryan. Ryan is 5 for 13 in the series. On the outside corner, 1-2.
You see the way, I mean, there's just been 2 left-handed hitters and they haven't seen that many pitches. But everything about him says he will pitch away, away, away to them. And you can look out there.
He's only shown Ryan fastball and curve in this at bat. And Ryan pulls that one fouled on the first base line. That was the changeup. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned how LeBlanc has struggled in his last four outings. He's allowed 14 earned runs and 3 home runs and 6 walks in his last 3 starts. So he's been roughed up. And that one is hit hard but foul. And Ryan stays alive. The count remains 1-2. Jerry Harrison's going to join the conversation on the mound. They're probably telling LeBlanc to make sure that he's careful with Victorino and Polanco. Polanco's getting a real long lead off first because he's watching Victorino. And if Shane takes off, then Polanco wants to make sure he gets a good jump to get to second base.
And he has to make sure if Victorino takes off that he keeps going. That's the whole key about that steal. You know, it's not put on by the bench. It's strictly by the base runners and what they decide to do.
Hairston behind Victorino. And that one is not held onto by Torrealba.
Torrealba's one of those guys that has a lot of animation back there. You see right there, hit the heel of the glove. Just to make sure everybody knows that should have caught that, or that he wanted to catch it.
Victorino goes. Polanco follows. The throw by Torrealba is wide, and Victorino slides in safely. And Wheels, that's what you were talking about Chase Headley being off the line. That he had a long way to come to try to make that play, and Torrealba really didn't have a target to throw to.
Right, it's a moving target, and you know, all Torrealba can do is throw that to the bag, and then his third baseman gets there. But Headley was way out of position to try and make the tag. You'll see him coming into your picture right there, and see he's got to reach for it and then reach back.
So 2-2 with 2 in scoring position, and now it's 3-2 to Ryan.
So that was a good job by the base runners to do that. And here he comes, and look where he's got to catch the ball first and then reach back, and Victorino beats the play. It's a tough play for a third baseman.
Davey Lopes likes the fact the Phillies are swiping bags here in this first inning. Ryan stays alive, fouls that one off, and it remains 3-2. He's had a lot of foul balls in this at bat.
Yeah, he's surprisingly throwing a bunch of changeups because I don't know whether they've decided to do that tonight, but everything about him indicates that he has gone away from his changeup to left-handed batters, and the fact that he hasn't getting them out as much. And it's one of his better pitches. That's the direction, or that's Ryan Howard, or the man on third with less than 2 outs that he has right now.
10th pitch of the at bat. Down low, ball 4. The bases are loaded.
A good at bat by Ryan. He fell behind quickly in the count and then battled. The guy stole the bases, and now Jason Worth has a chance to do some damage.
So Victorino's on third, Polanco's on second, reminding Shane that there's 1 out. Ryan Howard's on first. And here's Jason Worth. Jason is just 1 for 11 in the series. The 1 was a home run. He has walked 3 times. And he's going to get a chance here to give the Phillies the early lead. It's scoreless in the bottom of the first. Padres play the infield back, looking to turn 2.
And they're really deep for double play depth, too. You know, they know Worth doesn't hit a whole lot of ground balls, and he runs really well. So it's surprising they aren't cheating a little more than that.
He pulls it toward the hole, cut off by Headley to second for 1, And it's in time to get Jason. A 5-4-3 double play, and the Phillies waste a bases-loaded opportunity here in the bottom of the first. No runs, 2 hits, 2 men left. We go to the second in a scoreless game. Close on the back ends.
It was a great relay by Eckstein. Got a lot on this, and on the replays, it's almost like a tie. It's so close, but he hooked a changeup off the end of the bat, and he called himself safe there. But the guy that counts calls him out.
That's Jim Wolf, the first base umpire, and see the ball arrives just a split second ahead of Jason's foot. So the double play ends the bottom of the first. Jason goes back to work in right. And here's Scott Hairston. Hairston's 4 for 10 in the series. He's played in all 4 games, or I should say 2 for 12 in the series. And he's played in all 4 games. 4 for 10 against Cole Hamels in his career. And Cole delivers a fastball for a strike. It's 0-1. Scott's older brother Jerry is the leadoff batter and shortstop for the Padres. Jerry had a funny quote in the papers the last couple of days. As that pitch is high, 1-1. Jerry said that when he arrived in San Diego, everyone thought that he'd be easygoing like Scott. Well, surprise, here's Jerry. Scott is reserved and much quieter. At dinner, I would dominate the conversation.
That's brothers. That's not unusual.
What is unusual, though, is 2 brothers playing on the same team.
Yeah, it is. Very unusual. You know, and this is one of those 3-generation situations here of Hairston's.
That one's in the air to left toward the alleyway. Ibanez on the run, gets to a spot and makes the catch. Nice play by Raul. 1 out here in the second. Now the Atlanta Braves, who lead the National League East by 2 games over the Phillies, will be here Monday, July 5th at 7:05. Tonight's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. That's the next one. Tuesday the 6th at 7:05. It's the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 98 Charlie Manuel Louisville Slugger Bat for fans 14 and under. And the series winds down on the 7th. You can get your tickets by logging on to Phillies.com. And if you're looking to take a look at that Louisville Slugger Bat, you can see a picture of it on Phillies.com.
You know, we're talking about the 3 generations of players playing the major leagues, and we're lucky enough to see some of that here in Philadelphia with the Boones. And Aaron's here tonight working the broadcast. It's always great to catch up with him. He was in Atlanta last week and here tonight. Retired last year and trying to pursue a new career where he really doesn't have to work for a living, which is nice. Never has to see a slider again.
Plus, he wears some nice duds, too.
There he is. What a good guy.
Aaron Boone with Dan Shulman.
He can imitate anybody. He's unbelievable. And he was up here in the booth early, and Larry Christensen and Mike Schmidt were both down on the field, and he did them perfect. And they were looking up here, and they were doubled over laughing. You name the guy, he can do it.
1-2 the count to Chase Headley. And a fastball on the outside corner. That's a little paint from Cole. 2 away here in the second. That's a good pitch.
Well, it's a great pitch after a changeup. Cole threw a tremendous changeup, and now he has Headley thinking, where's he going? And the next thing you know, he's headed back to the bench dragging his bat. Fastball right down the middle, and you can see his reaction like, oh man, how can I take that?
One of the things that Cole has been able to pick up this year is his pace in strikeouts. That's his 65th strikeout in 65 1/3.
One thing you really notice about him this year, and it started more near the end of last year, is his body language. If something goes wrong, he doesn't beat himself up so much. And as Tom's saying, to talk about his tempo, his pace, everything's quicker. And just, you know, this game, it's created for you to fail, unfortunately. And the guys that learn how to fail the best are going to be the best players.
Torrealba wants Jim Joyce to take a look at that baseball. And Jim will throw it out. A lot of folks say that you need to fail in order to succeed. I know it's hard to accept, but sometimes you do need to have a little failure.
You're going to fail in this game. Even if you're a great player, you're going to fail a lot. Problem is sometimes when you're a young player and you're so good and you dominate in high school, you dominate in the minor leagues, then you get up here and all of a sudden the reality check hits you. And I think Cole's adjusting a lot better to it.
1-2 the count to Yorvit Torrealba. 1 for 4 in the series. And that one is hit softly to shortstop. Wilson Valdez has got it, and he slings it across the diamond for the final out. 1, 2, 3 go the Padres for a second consecutive inning. We've played 1.5 here in Philadelphia. It's the Padres nothing, the Phillies nothing. Complete breakdown of the Flyers' disappointing Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final, plus a look ahead to the do-or-die Game 6 in Philly with former Flyers Rick Tocchet and Bill Clement on The Ultimate Goal tonight at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Scoreless game as we go to the bottom of the second inning. Raul Ibanez is set to lead it off, and the Major League Baseball amateur draft is underway. Here are the top 5 picks. Bryce Harper is the #1 overall pick by the Washington Nationals. Now you see the C next to his name for catcher. He plays everywhere, and he is a talented young man. Jamison Talon from Texas, from the state of Texas, was the #2 pick by the Pirates. And then a couple of shortstops, including Manny Machado from just outside of Miami, who was taken by the Baltimore Orioles. Phillies are slated to pick 27th in the first round. And as soon as they make their first pick, which won't be for a little bit of time, we'll give you that first pick. 1 ball, 1 strike the count to Raul Ibanez to start at the bottom of the second. And Raul takes that breaking ball on the outside corner, or I should say that cutter. It's 1-2.
Jim Joyce has a big plate tonight, and you know that's good for the pitchers, and the hitters are going to have to get used to it and swing the bats, kind of like the Demura was the other night for the perfect game. And you know, as long as they establish it and stay with it, then they're okay.
Raul hits it hard, base hit it to right center field. That is the first hit of the series for Raul. So he's aboard to start the bottom of the second. Well, Cole Hamels has back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team in order, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. That base hit, the 3rd of the game for the Phils. And that'll bring Carlos Ruiz to the plate. Carlos is 2 for 8 in the series so far. Got a good glimpse of what LeBlanc is able to do, because he delivered that ball in the dirt that was blocked by Torey Alba. Raul Ibanez was going back to the first base bag.
You know, and Ibanez isn't going anywhere. It's not like when Victorino was over there and thinking about stealing it back. All Ibanez is doing is make sure he doesn't get picked off.
Outside, 2 balls and no strikes to Carlos. See Carlos's numbers, 307, and he has hit the ball well over the last couple of weeks. In fact, on the road trip, he was one of the only guys that was hitting it consistently. He and Wilson Valdez. And he lays off something soft, and it's 3-0. Here's Wilson, starting at shortstop for a second consecutive day, or excuse me, for the second time in the series. Juan Castro started yesterday. On the outside corner, it's 3-1. LeBlanc was a pretty good pitcher in the minor leagues for the Padres. He won 33 games, lost 27. His ERA in the minors, though, is a tad higher than what it is in the big leagues. This year.
This is where you really like to start the runner. See if they do it. No.
Raul hits it in the air the opposite way. On the run is Hairston. When he gets to the gap, it makes the catch.
The reason you say that is because you want to stay out of a double play where the left-hander is going to throw a lot of change-ups, and you don't think Ruiz is going to swing through a pitch on a soft tosser like this guy. But I guess they see so much of that, so much swinging and missing, that they're just reticent to start runners a lot of times.
Well, now the number 8 hitter, Wilson Valdez, will be the batter. Valdez hitting .262, no homers and 7 runs batted in. Ibanez with a very short lead off first. As the changeup is high, it's 1-0. Wilson and Juan Castro both filled in very well for Jimmy Rollins. And he hits it the opposite way. Denorfia coming on, makes the catch, and Ibanez is caught in no man's land. A one-hop throw handled by Gonzalez, and a second straight inning that ends on a double play. This one a little different than the first inning. I think Denorfia was even surprised that Raul had lingered so far off the first base bag. So a fly ball to right results in a double play. Finished off 9-3 to end the second. 1991 against his former team, the Padres. Wheels is nodding in approval, which means I think he knows the answer.
When you say turn, you mean he was part of it?
Yes.
Right. Because we'll talk about it later, but it should have been an unassisted triple play. But there's this great story behind that.
All right, we'll save that story until the 7th inning. As long as you're correct with the answer.
I get it. Well, we'll see.
We go to the top of the 3rd. Cole Hamels will face the bottom 3rd. Oscar Salazar, Chris Denorfia, and Wade LeBlanc. And the first pitch is in the dirt. 1 ball and no strikes. Cole's last 2 starts have been on the road. But prior to that, he had enjoyed some pretty good success here at Citizens Bank Park. 3-1 in 5 games. This is a 6th start. But an earned run average of 2.94. He is keeping the Padres hitters off balance so far. With one out here in the 3rd.
Well, Jamie Moyer did that to them the other night. Of course, Cole going to throw the ball a lot harder than Jamie, but he's going to try and work him similarly, and then he can try to come in with fastballs, cutters to the right-handed hitters, and use his changeup effectively.
Well, for his career, it's 61 starts here at Citizens Bank Park. Cole has allowed 3 earned runs or less in 45 of those 61 starts. And a fastball in the inside corner to Denorfia.
Ball's jumping out of his hand tonight too. You know, talked so much in the opening and the tease that you did, Tom, about his the rest that he's had. There's those numbers here at Citizens Bank Park, and you can tell he is really fresh tonight with the ball just jumping out of his hand. You can really see that with a guy's fastball.
You see his numbers for his career here at the ballpark. He has the most wins of anybody here at Citizens Bank Park. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Denorfia.
He get away with some fly balls tonight because of the wind blowing in too from left and left center, with quite a few right-handed hitters in the lineup.
Swing and a miss and a changeup. Boy, that ball just dove down and away to Denorfia. 2 away. 2nd strikeout for Cole.
There it is. You see the changeup grip. That was a great shot of it in his hand. There you can see the splits in the fingers, and dead fish time, down and away.
Well, here's LeBlanc, who's been a pretty good hitter. And this is his first full year in the big leagues. 6 for 15. He has 4 hits in his 9 starts. Or has hit in 4 of his 9 starts. And it's 2 balls and no strikes to him. He actually had a game this year against the Brewers on the 29th of April when he went 3 for 3.
Yeah, he has 10 major league hits, 6 this year. To this point, all singles. That's a good swing.
Well, it sounds odd, but a lot of times pitchers will go up there. They won't be as close to the plate as he is. I mean, his back foot is pretty close to the plate.
Yeah, you can usually tell when they want to hit a little bit because they'll stand up towards the plate as opposed to getting as far away as they can. That swing he just took at that fastball means he wants to swing the bat. So look what he does. He comes back and throws him a changeup after that. There he is, batting average among National League pitchers.
Well, that's the 6th pitch of this at bat. This is the first time Cole has gone to a 3-ball count in the first 3 innings this evening.
Yeah, and this guy's making him work hard.
On deck hitters Jerry Hairston. He swung at just 1 pitch. Off the inside corner. There's ball 4. First walk of the night. And just the 12th walk. I should say the 24th walk by Cole this season.
Yeah, first base runner is a walk to the pitcher tonight after a long at bat on a 94 fastball.
So back to the top of the order. Here's Jerry Hairston Jr. Hairston swung at 1 pitch. A Fly ball to left his first time up. Victorino's a few steps over toward left center. In fact, the infield plays in the pole a little bit with Chase shaded up the middle.
Oh, this guy likes to open up and yank. He is a pole hitter. And he likes to hit the ball out of the ballpark if he can. He's strong. And so is Scott Hairston, his brother. They're both similar that way, even if they are different personalities.
Figured one fouled the other and saw how they did it. Figured, you know, that's a pretty good way to do it. Well, it's 2-1 now to Jerry Hairston. Cole has been really comfortable tonight. Hasn't worked behind too many hitters. He said that the 3-ball count to LeBlanc was his first of the night. He wound up walking him, and now it's 2-1 Hairston. And he hits it in the air to right field, right at Jason Worth, who had him play beautifully. And the Padres strand a base runner here in the third. No runs, no hits, one man left. We go to the bottom of the third. No score. Citizens Bank Park. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Go to southwest.com. Grab your bag. It's on. By McDonald's. McCafe your day at McDonald's with a new McCafe Frappe. And by your local Dodge dealers. Bottom of the third. Phillies have stranded a couple base runners already. And they'll send 9-1-2 to the plate against left-hander Wade LeBlanc. Follow the Phillies on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com At Bat 2010. Features play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Phillies.com today on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, or BlackBerry for more details. Cole's hitting .182 this year, 4 hits and 22 at-bats. He and LeBlanc have very similar stances. LeBlanc was late getting off the mound, and Adrian Gonzalez wanted to toss it, but decided to take it himself. One away here in the third. So one pitch and one set aside. LeBlanc is essentially in the rotation with the Padres because of the injury to Chris Young. Young has shut it down for a better part of 6 weeks before he'll start to throw again because he has an impingement in his left or his right shoulder. But LeBlanc did a nice enough job last year in 9 games that the Padres felt like they could use him. He was 3-1 with a 3.69 earned run average in 9 games.
That's a pitcher making sure that ball does not ever get back to him. He wanted a new ball from the home plate umpire. A lot of times they'll just throw it in the catcher and he might shuffle it around the ball bags. He took that thing and threw it out in the Phillies dugout.
Below the knees, 2-0, the count to Victorino. Probably didn't like the seams or the feel.
Yeah,
or
a lot of times they don't like the way it's rubbed up, or as you say, Tom, the seams or just the way it feels. You know, pitchers just the baseball has to feel a certain way to them.
It was a good changeup that Shane was out in front of. It's 2-1. Well, Danny O'Rourke rubs up the baseballs most of the time. He is in charge of the umpires room. I've seen it happen. I've seen him rub up those baseballs.
Yes.
He's got him down to an art form. Victorino's got a second base his. He scalds that one to left.
Well, that used to be the duty of the home plate umpire for the night. The umpires used to have duties before they came to the game, and believe it or not, one of them used to sit behind home plate and whistle out to the field if they saw fraternization going on. If players from the opposite teams were talking to each other around the cage, now everybody's buddies and they hug each other and talk, and it's no big deal. But umpire would sit down, they whistle, and it would be a $50 fine. And back in those days, that was a lot of money to a player. So they didn't do it. And if they, they'd warn them, and if they kept it up, boom, they'd write them up, and they'd have to pay a fine.
So one umpire would watch the teams. One umpire would rub up the baseballs.
Yep.
The home plate guy.
The other two would probably have dinner.
Here's Polanco, who takes a strike. It's 0-1.
But now, as you said, guys like Dan O'Rourke, the umpire room attendants, do a great job rubbing up the baseballs, and I think they have 8 or 9 dozen ready for every game.
Oh, and he is fast with it too. I mean, he has got the placement of the mud where it needs to be, where the box of baseballs begins and ends, and it's a system.
He's a pro. Still hasn't shown that move yet, a good move. Shane's been over there twice now, and he's just shown that, just kind of, I know you're there move. Lull you to sleep and then look out.
In the dirt, blocked by Torrealba, and it's 1-1. I guess that changeup that LeBlanc throws keeps guys like Torrealba pretty busy behind the plate.
Yeah, and it's a great pitch to run on too, if you can sense it coming or have an idea that it's coming or pick up something with his grip or the way he holds his glove, because the odds are the catcher's not going to throw you out on a changeup because it's down the dirt too.
In the air to right field, DeNorfia is on the run. It carried a little farther than he thought, but he gets there a few steps from the track. Back to first goes Victorino. 2 outs here in the third.
It gives you an indication where the wind's going to take the ball to right field too.
Oh, 2 away. It'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. I think about guys like Chase on nights like this, or even LeBlanc, who went in the 3rd round. You know what this day must have been like when the Major League Baseball amateur draft took place, when you were thought to be a high draft pick possibility, or even if you were a middle of the draft kind of guy. What this day and tomorrow was going to be like.
Pretty exciting.
And there are a lot of local guys who have an interest in the draft. You see that Chase was the 1st round pick in 2000, Hamels in 2002. And the list goes on. Ryan Howard in the 5th round of 01. Ryan Matson in the 9th round of 98.
Yeah, you never know. A lot of times guys get drafted lower than you would think they would because of signability. Now, he had a pretty good beat on that and figured, if it hits my helmet, it's not coming that fast. Well, who knows what he's thinking? He's fearless in there.
Two balls, no strikes, the count to Chase Utley. And a quick step off. There's that step off move that Wheels was talking about. He gets a lot on that throw.
Yeah, the best I've ever seen of course, was Terry Mulholland, who used to throw bullets over there. He had such a strong upper body and he would pick guys off, and they wouldn't even lead off that much. He would startle them with it, and he'd throw it over there and get them. That was a good one. Well, he's thinking, you know, that he may run here too with 2 outs. You know, with Polanco up there and a guy shoots the ball the other way, maybe he wasn't going to run because they're going to try and get a first and third on a base hit. But now with 2 outs, a stolen base is a great idea to try and get into scoring position.
In the air to right field. It's playable for Denorfia. Comes in and over toward the line, and he makes the catch. So another base runner for the Phils. Victorino stranded at first through 3. The Phillies have stranded 3. We go to the top of the 4th. It's still a scoreless game. Baseball and the Blue Jays, the change of the series from Toronto to Philadelphia will take place Friday, June 25th. The Phillies and the Jays, a 3-game series, 1 night game, 2 day games. Tickets are on sale right now. You can log on to Phillies.com and make your purchase today. Top of the 4th, David Eckstein leads it off. Gary Matthews joins us here in the booth. Eckstein grounded to third his first time up. And Hamels delivers a fastball low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. A gorgeous night for baseball here in Philadelphia. Citizens Bank Park, another sold-out crowd. Along with Sarge, I'm Tom McCarthy. The Phillies and the Padres wrapping up this 4-game series. So far, the Phillies have stranded 3 through 3 innings. The Padres 1. Their only base runner was a 2-out walk to Wade LeBlanc. And it's 2-1 to David Eckstein. There's a fastball for a strike. It's 2-2.
He's had a good fastball tonight, being able to spot it. Joyce giving that low strike.
And somehow Eckstein got a piece of that one. Jim Joyce is the kind of umpire, Sarge, that if you were playing left field still, you'd be able to hear him. He's pretty loud.
Oh, he is. That's what they used to do back in the day. You can't throw it low enough for this guy to be able to hit it.
Towards second base, to his left and in is Chase. He cuts it off on a nice hop. 1 away here in the 4th. Well, we mentioned before that today is the Major League Baseball amateur draft. Cole Hamels is a former first-round selection. Chase Utley was a first-round selection out of UCLA. David Eckstein, who just grounded out, is out of the University of Florida. Sarge, you were a first-round selection. What was that day like, or what were those 2 days like leading up to it and then even after it?
Actually, it was really pretty good. Tim Foley was actually the number one pick, which was in the area. Dudley Census also with Baltimore, which took a little bit longer for him to get to the major leagues because of Brooks Robinson. You know, rookies, when you're going to the major leagues, you don't want to be with a guy that can make the Hall of Fame. That means extra years for you in the minor leagues.
All right, so now you as a player, when you were selected number 1 by the Giants, did you sit there and think, okay, they have this guy, and this guy. I got to make sure that that path is cleared for me to get to the big leagues quick enough.
Interesting you would say that. Hank Sauer told me all you have to do to get to the major leagues and hit. And I said, well, is that it? He says yes, because at the time you were looking at Mr. Henderson, the switch hitter, who actually played left field, and along with Mays and Bobby Bonds. And plus, in the minor leagues, we had guys hitting 300 all up and down the minor leagues.
Yeah, you had not only yourself, you had Gary Maddox, you had George Foster, who was in the farm system as well. So there were some guys that you had to hit ahead of in order to get to the big leagues.
Yeah, that guy George Foster, they said he couldn't hit it at all, so they traded him. One of the reasons, too, I was able to go back and play there. But again, that was a mistake. George, very good player.
That pitch just missed to Adrian Gonzalez. It's 3-2. Well, you have the pleasure of not only going through it as a player, but you also have the pleasure of going through it as a father. And this kind of day when everybody's waiting to see where they're going to go, what team's going to take them. There's ball 4 as Gonzalez is aboard with a 1-out walk here in the 4th inning. Was it equally as gratifying as a father?
Oh, yeah.
Nerve-wracking?
Oh, yeah, because you're knowing when you get ready to sign, you're actually helping him and going through the negotiations, and then you remember the times when you went through it. Although, even though I was number 1, he got a bigger bonus than I did.
Junior
but
did?
Yes, he did. He reminds me of that. But it is quite a thrill, and then more of a thrill once they get to the minor leagues and start to play.
Scott Hairston is the hitter, and Hairston takes a pitch just below the knees for ball 1. Hairston flied out to left his first time up. He hit it right to the warning track in left center. No score, top of the 4th. Padres have just their second base runner of the night against Cole. Well, now the amateur draft is so different. It's being carried on national television. At least the first couple of rounds are. Back when you were drafted, how did you find out?
Barely hit the newspaper. They barely even talked about it. You kidding me? George Genovese was the scout that signed me, and he also signed Gary Maddox along with Dave Kingman, Jim Barr, Randy Moffett, guys that were in our class right there, along with George Foster. He would actually come and pick us up, and we would play on Sundays. I got my first pair of spikes from George Genovese. I remember them because they were just all black that you would put on. And I got to tell you, I was really happy to get my first set of spikes.
Times are different now, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, right. They sure are different. A lot of different colors on those shoes.
2-1 the count to Hairston. No, Bryce Harper of the Washington Nationals out of Las Vegas was the number 1 overall pick in this year's amateur draft by the Washington Nationals. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hairston. Hit one hard toward third. Polanco's got it on 1 hop. A 5-4-3 double play. And the second walk by Cole Hamels is wiped away. Nice glove side stab by Polanco to start that around the horn double play. Plenty of time for Chase Utley to get out of the way of Gonzalez. And Phillies baseball is brought to you by AT&T. Rethink Possible. By WB Mason. Hoop at WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. And by your participating Philadelphia area Chevy dealers. Visit ChevyDealer.com. Bottom of the fourth inning. Another sold-out crowd here at Citizens Bank Park. It'll be Ryan Howard, Jason Worth, and Raul Ibanez against Wade LeBlanc. LeBlanc, the 25-year-old left-hander from Louisiana. Ryan walked his first time up. It turned out to be a good at-bat. He fouled off a number of pitches.
Yeah, it was a good at-bat. Almost kind of starting his swing. That's why he's getting those check swings.
A 5-game hitting streak for Ryan. 7 hits during the 5-game hitting streak. Sarge, somebody mentioned the other day, we've talked about Ryan and the fact that he only has 9 home runs, that he's hitting, close to 290, but that the other team will take it. They like the fact that he's just getting singles, that they're throwing pitches that he has not been able to drive consistently. That although he's hitting for a higher average, they're okay with that as the opposition because they're keeping him in the ballpark.
Anytime you keep power hitters in the ballpark, you feel that you've done their job. And with Ryan, too, now, they're getting early strikes on him, and he's been swinging at that low breaking ball or the low changeup quite a bit. It's good to see him stay off of those pitches. That's how he ended up getting to walk his first at bat. But in spring training, when you go back to that, he was so confident being able to take all those pitches and then consequently getting pitches in order to be able to hit. So you're making that pitcher throw you strikes by not swinging at his bad pitches that are in the dirt.
Well, that last bad pitch got a piece of your Torrealba, so that's what the delay is. Jim Joyce is wandering around, asking for a new set of baseballs, cleaning up the area around home plate, dusting off the dish. On the hands, and it'll be caught by Jerry Hairston. Well, that was a changeup that was up, but it was up and in enough that Ryan was not able to extend his arms.
Actually getting jammed on that ball, and you're right. Up and in on the power hitters, they'll try and tie them up. I don't know if that pitch was a ball, but it might have been close enough.
Ryan's 0 for 1. Here's Jason Worth. He bounced into an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play his last time up.
He was pretty angry with himself on doing that. Bang, bang, as he got called out at first base on the double play. But that was a bad pitch, though. That ball was down. We talked about it. Men on base and scoring position. Want the ball a little up in the zone near the belt area.
See the distribution of outs for LeBlanc. I was talking to Jason today about his swing. I said, so what are some of the things you're working on? And he said that he feels like he's closing too early with his front shoulder, and then has to open up too quick as the pitch comes in. So just looking at his stance here, it's almost as if he's starting with that front shoulder open toward third a little bit, Sarge, just to kind of overcompensate a little bit.
Well, if you're open up, and I like that, but you got to make sure when you take your load that you're going right toward it.
Towering shot into foul territory. Gonzalez, the first baseman, is over, and he can't come up with it.
Well, anytime that ball goes into the stands, it's fair game. That same ball, if it was in fair territory on the foul side, he would have been called out. And see, going into the stands, that's fair game. So any fan that wants to get that ball on the opposition, go ahead. Go on and get it. Can't get it, though, if you're reaching the other way on the other side of the ring.
So the fans were in their right.
That's right.
Try to get that souvenir. Just like these fans will be in their right to get this souvenir. Nice catch by that gentleman right there. So it to the count.
These are the type of pitchers that will frustrate you because you know you should be hitting them hard, and a lot of times just not waiting to get a pitch to drive.
Low it in 3-2 now to Jason.
Should be able to take a long look at this. Again, he can't throw the ball by him. These guys will try and trick you more than try and come right at you with a strike.
Sarge, how many times do you think as a hitter do you make drastic adjustments during the season?
I don't think that you make a lot of drastic changes once you get to the major leagues because your stroke has got you there. Now it's up to the instructor to look at you, take a little bit, and then be able to get you to do the things you need to do.
Jason pulls that to shortstop. Hairston is there. It's almost as if Jason Wirtz just scared Adrian Gonzalez as he made that catch. 2 outs. Hey, host your next corporate or social event at Citizens Bank Park. The ballpark offers a variety of unique spaces and on-site catering available year-round for many types of functions, both large and small. Take advantage of all the ballpark has to offer: tours, message board usage, fanatic appearances. Call the special events department at 215-218-5100 or visit Phillies.com/special events. Come to the ballpark for a game. You can wander around and see some of the sights, and you might think that it would be a good spot for you to bring your company or your next party. And you're right, there's some pretty neat places here, including the Bud Light rooftop, some of the areas in the Hall of Fame Club, and of course the beautiful Diamond Club restaurant. Raul Ibanez singled his first time up. I mean, there are spots around this park that you may not have seen. And Ibanez hits it hard, but it's right at Gonzalez. He'll take it to the bag himself, and it's a 1-2-3 fourth inning for LeBlanc. It's his first 1-2-3 inning of the night. We've completed 4. Still no scores. We go to the 5th. expert analysis from former Philly Ricky Vitalico on Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Sloan Toyota, right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, 4 in the books. Nice night to enjoy the game with your dad. No score as the Phillies and the Padres finish up this 4-game series. Florida Marlins will be in town for a 3-game set beginning tomorrow night. In fact, they're already here in Philly. They finished up their series with the Mets yesterday. And they will welcome in, according to reports, one of their big-time prospects, Mike Stanton, who's going to come up from Double-A and join the Florida Marlins. So he'll be, from what everybody's told us, in the lineup tomorrow in one of the corner outfield positions.
Yeah, well, 21 home runs this kid has hit. It would tell me in Double-A he's ready to go.
Good changeup from Cole, and it's 0-2 to Chase Headley as we start the 5th inning.
And the other thing is they're not going to bring a prospect up that's having a year like that and not put him in the lineup right away. They're going to try and ride him out and hope that he continues to stay hot.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, speaking of prospects, Buster Posey, who is the former #1 pick for the Giants, has given them a 4-3 lead over the Reds in the bottom of the 4th. Posey's 2 for 2. And he will eventually be their everyday catcher, but he has been playing first base for San Francisco. But Black, the manager of the Padres, his team in first place in the National League West. Who would have thunk it at the start of the year? Out in front of that changeup, and he pulls it foul toward the third base coach's box, and it remains 1-2.
We really don't have a lot of recognizable players on the team. Adrian Gonzalez, the first baseman, he's pretty well known, and other than that, I mean, you just don't know a lot of them, and you got to give them a lot of credit.
Well, they've done it with pitching and with defense, and we've seen that at times during this series, although I didn't think even yesterday they played that great of a game defensively. In fact, Adrian Gonzalez said the Padres played what he thought was their worst game of the year and still got the win over the Phillies. Look at that. The bat went farther than the ball, and Polanco makes the off-balance throw in time to get Headley. Good throw by Placido, who's played some real good third base during this series.
Yeah, sure has. Good pitch, though, by Cole Hamels, throwing that cutter in on the hands. He's had a good fastball. You can see how that ball just comes right in on him, shatters the bat. Now look how far this bat goes. Concentration there by Polanco. You can see right now where that bat is. Just don't want it coming at you when you're throwing it.
And there were pieces of that bat that were littered in front of the plate. So 1 out. Here's your Vitor Alba. He grounded to Wilson Valdez at short his first time up.
Jerry Koosman with the Mets used to throw that same pitch, that hard cutter, in to the right-handed batters.
That ball got the mask of Carlos Ruiz, and it's 0-1. Sarge, when you look at some pitchers like, let's say, Jamie Moyer or Cole Hamels, and you see their styles, I mean, can you point to guys that pitched in your era that have the same styles, or is it a different game?
Similar. I mean, obviously a different game, different players, but similar. I would think for sure Jamie Moyer would pitch something like, say, Randy Jones or Tommy John, somewhere around in there. Cole Hamels didn't face a lot of lefties that had really great changeups, more curveball, more cutter, more hard stuff.
0-2 the count to Torrealba. That's where Ruiz wanted it. He wanted it up.
Okay, I like that pitch. 2 strikes, or even the first pitch, being able to come in, move that hitter's feet, move him off the plate. just opens up the outside corner in that changeup. Stand a lot more with the fastball here. You know, not just throwing a fastball changeup. He's been doubling up, throwing that fastball twice.
There's that changeup. Yep, he got him way out in front. Torrey Alba's down on strikes. 3 strikeouts for Hamels in the game.
Hey, you get that hitter anxious. He has 2 strikes on him. Good changeup. Looks like a fastball. Look how out front he is. And that's all set up on the fastball.
Here's Oscar Salazar. And Sarge, that's the 50th fastball of the night. Hamels has thrown 66 pitches overall. 50 fastballs.
Feeling good about his fastball. Getting it up as high as 93. Good breaking ball. Joyce almost getting that right hand up.
Another changeup. So he backed up changeups to Salazar, who's a dead fastball hitter, and it's 1-2.
Just the movement on it, acting as if it's almost a screwball at times, where that ball kind of goes away from the right-handed batter.
We're going to work it away again. That was a breaking pitch there. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. Trying to check his swing. They appeal. No swing, says Jim Wolf. In the air to right field. Jason Wirth started in, but he's got plenty of time to settle under it. And it's another 1-2-3 inning for Cole Hamels. He's allowed just 2 base runners tonight. A walk in the 3rd, a walk in the 4th. Now a walk back to the dugout as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Tomorrow, 3 night games in a row. You can get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. Great pitching matchup on Wednesday night. It's going to be Roy Halladay against Josh Johnson. In fact, the pitching matchups for this 3-game series against the Florida Marlins are exactly the same as the 3-game series in Miami last weekend. Here we go to the bottom of the 5th inning, and it is a pitcher's duel. Wade LeBlanc has allowed 4 hits through 4 innings. And he's walked 1. Meanwhile, Cole Hamels is not allowed to hit through 5. Carlos Ruiz, Wilson Valdez, Cole Hamels. Bottom third due up for the Phils. And that drops in for a strike. It's 0-1. Carlos flied out to right center his first time up. He's 0 for 1. There's Cole, who's up third in this inning. That's his line. LeBlanc's been pretty good too. That's his first strikeout. Right at the knees. I think he fooled Ruiz with location. And there's one away here in the 5th.
Yeah, those are 3 pretty good pitches. Starting him off with a curveball, then a changeup, then came back something hard inside. Take a look at it here as that ball comes in. I don't know. Well, close enough. Close enough. Didn't think that it had a lot of plate, but close enough to be able to swing with 2 strikes. Again, we talked about it. Joyce calling the low pitch.
And at this point in the game, you would have to make the adjustment as the hitter.
There you go. I mean, if that's the pitch that he's calling, then you make the adjustment. Both pitcher and also hitter. More so hitter, though.
Valdez flied into a double play his first time up. 1 ball and 1 strike to him. I think Carlos was looking outside on that one too.
I think that he just thought the ball was a ball.
Okay.
Thought maybe it was either down or in.
Change up. Did he go? No, says Jim Wolf. And it's 2-1 to Valdez.
See whether or not he goes or not. They're always tough. That's a tough call one way or the other, whether or not he went or not.
Line drive caught by Headley at third. There haven't been too many balls hit harder than that by Valdez in this game. 2 outs. Phillies had a prime opportunity to score a run in the first. So we look at this replay.
Yeah, all you can do is hit it hard. You can't guide it. Valdez smoking that ball.
Sarge, the Phillies had the bases loaded in the first with 1 out and then a double play ball end of the inning, but they really haven't had any other chances against LeBlanc.
No, that's why it's really important when you can. If you get them early, settles your pitcher down, although Cole hasn't settled down since the first inning. Just makes it where he doesn't have to go out and try and throw perfect pitches once he gets some runs.
1-2 the count to Hamels as that curveball came over the knees.
That 88 is about as hard as he's going to throw. It's not a pitch that normally can throw by a major leaguer. I'm talking about the guys that are playing every day.
On the hand, slow roller towards second base. Eckstein has time, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for LeBlanc. In fact, it's his second straight 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 8 Phillies in a row. We've played 5 again. It's a pitcher's duel brewing here in Philadelphia. Hamels. One after another, they have kept the Phillies in each game, start after start. The old saying goes, you're as good as your next day's starting pitcher. And in this case, they have been really good, sometimes even perfect. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. We're here for you every step of the way. Well, Cole Hamels has been outstanding here tonight. He goes to the top of the 6th inning. He's allowed only 2 base runners, 2 walks, 1 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th. He's had a really good fastball tonight, but Sarge, he's also had a couple of really good changeups tonight.
Yeah, that changeup actually goes away. He throws at 2 different speeds. This one he's going to throw a little bit harder as it goes into the dirt, but all that set up on his fastball. He's had a good fastball tonight and hitting low strikes, both in and out.
Now we'll see him throw his changeup at different speeds. That first one almost looked like that screwball action that you talked about before.
Yeah, he mentioned he can throw that particular pitch in his sleep. He feels and has so much confidence with it.
We start the 6th. Chris Denorfia leads it off. And that curveball is high. We haven't seen many curves from Cole. In fact, we've only seen about 4 or 5 in this game. Chopper toward the middle. Coming on is Valdez. Scoops it up, throws on the run. Boy, he's got a good arm. Woo. 1 away here in the 6th inning.
Yeah, he's small and thin, but he has a cannon of an arm. He showed that off before. You can see him when he gets balls in the holes. That's a good play, though, coming up and catching that ball on the short hop right there, getting it out of his glove, and he just flicks it, putting it right on the line there to Ryan Howard. There it is again. Got him by plenty.
Valdez, who won a Gold Glove in the Winter Leagues this year at shortstop.
They give Gold Gloves in winter ball now?
Well, they may not have when you played. Well, maybe they just didn't tell you that they had Gold Gloves in winter ball,
That's
but they give them out now.
Real funny. Yeah.
Here's LeBlanc, and it's 1-1 to Wade LeBlanc.
I think that's pretty good. How about the silver bat?
Well, they have an all-Dominican team, so maybe that's where the silver... No, I guess that wouldn't be where the silver bat comes from. I didn't see that, Sarge.
Just throwing it out there for you.
Sure, they would follow suit with whatever the majors do. So eventually there might be that silver bat award. Lays off a low pitch, 2-2. Carlos wanted to look over at third base umpire Marvin Hudson, but Jim Joyce didn't ask. LeBlanc walked his first time up. One of 2 walks issued by Cole. And a swing and a miss. He got him on a fastball. 4th strikeout for Hamels. Tuesday, June 22nd at 7:05, the Phillies begin a 3-game series against the Cleveland Indians. Now, the middle game of that series, the 23rd, there's still good seats available. The other 2 games, well, there's limited availability to tickets, but there's still some around the ballpark. You can log on to Phillies.com anytime to check the seat locations and the availability for that 3-game series. With 2 outs, we go back to the top of the order for Jerry Hairston.
It's going to be some tough games there, that interleague, those teams that we're playing.
Off the end of the bat, a spinner towards shortstop. Valdez has to hurry again. He starts the inning with a fine play. He finishes the inning with a fine play. Cole Hamels with another 1-2-3 inning. He's retired 7 consecutive batters as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Wheeler today. Bottom of the 6th inning, the Phillies need some runs because their pitcher is pitching a fantastic ball game right now. Cole Hamels' longest outing without giving up a hit was back in '06 against the Astros. He went 6 2/3. Well, he's got 6 innings so far tonight on a gorgeous evening here in South Philadelphia without allowing a hit. And it'll be the top of the order that will lead it off against lefty Wade LeBlanc. Remember when the perfect game took place that Roy Halladay threw against the Florida Marlins? The Phillies' only run against Josh Johnson was an unearned run. Victorino's 2 for 2. He has been stranded at third and stranded at first. He's had a good homestand so far.
He can hit the ball. He gets that foot down. He has a lot better success. Doesn't guarantee that you're going to get a hit. It will, though, maximize your ability to get a hit when that foot is down.
He was saying the other day that the foot is a big reason why, after his 2-hit performance in the first game of the series, that he took extra BP, because he felt like his foot was down and his body was in perfect position and he wanted to duplicate it. Now, that's not the case with this at bat, but it was the case in the first 2 at bats.
Yeah, not a very good pitch. Pretty good technique. Just had to get that ball up a little higher, and probably would have been a base hit up the middle. Hit that off the end of the bat. Hitting 2, you got to have patience. Got to have patience to be a good hitter, and you can't be afraid to hit with 2 strikes, as in Polanco. It's a good example of that.
He singled in the first, flat out to right in the third. 1 for 2. One ball, 1 strike to count to Polanco. Off the end of the bat, he flares it to right center. Northfield gives way to Hairston, who makes the catch, 2 away. Oh, it's time now for our Coors Light Freeze Can. Sarge was talking about his first pair of spikes earlier tonight. Whose spikes are those, Sarge?
That probably would be Ryan Howard.
That would be Shane Victorino. How about those?
Oh, boy. Big Joe Blanton.
How about J.B. Boyer? How about those?
I don't want to guess anymore.
Chase Utley.
Oh, boy. Was I close?
Well, I don't know. You didn't really say anything for the third one. So, yeah, you were close on that one.
Oh, boy.
Chase takes the first pitch from LeBlanc for a strike. It's 0-1. I don't know how you didn't get J.B.
Yeah,
Sannies and stirrups.
I got to tell you, it was perfect, though. The pitcher, that Coors Light freeze camera, it freezes those shoes. You could see them, and I thought for sure those were Ryan Howard's.
I have to admit, I thought they were Ryan Howard's, too. 1 ball and 1 strike to Chase, who has flied out twice. He flied out to left his first time up, to right his last time up. Back a couple weeks ago, the Phillies had trouble against a couple of left-handers by the name of Zach Duke and Tom Gorzolani. This guy throws similar fashion, doesn't he not?
Somewhat. Velocities might be a little bit different.
Gonzalez makes a nice play on the glove side. LeBlanc is there to cover, and it's another 1, 2, 3 inning. So he's retired 11 in a row. We go to the 7th. It'll be David Eckstein, Adrian Gonzalez, and Scott Hairston for the Padres. couple of good defensive plays by Wilson Valdez in the 6th. Now we start the 7th. Cole Hamels against David Eckstein. Eckstein is 0 for 2. He has grounded the 3rd, and he's grounded the 2nd. And it's no balls at 2 strikes. Fastball in the low 90s with the first pitch, and then one in the high 80s with that second pitch. His average fastball velocity tonight has been at 92 miles an hour. Oh, it's time now for a Verizon Wireless game summary, Wills.
Another good game here tonight. Not much scoring and certainly not much hitting on the part of the San Diego Padres. The Phillies with 4 hits. Shane Victorino with a couple of them. Cole Hamels has just been dealing since the first inning. He had a great fastball right out of the chute. And the Blocks pitch really well, too. And mentioned Shane has the 2 hits and a stolen base.
Phillies had that bases loaded opportunity in the first, but they haven't had much else.
Oh. Everybody wanted that, at least on the Phillies side. It's outside. And a little high.
Carlos wanted it even lower than that. He just throws his bat at that one, and it's picked up on one hop by Ryan Howard, and Hamels races Eckstein to the bag. I couldn't tell if that ball hit the ground or if it was just a little humpback liner.
Well, that's why a pitcher can't stand out there and umpire either. I mean, the only thing they have to do on a play like that, the ball's hit the right side, you break for first base. And just for that reason, if he catches it in the air, fine, but it didn't. It hit the ground right away. And here comes Ryan Howard on the big hop. That's a typical David Eckstein. You never know what he's going to do, make contact type of thing. Now, see, he breaks right away, and he had to break right away. A perfect feed from Ryan Howard. Good job on that 3-1 hookup. And they're going to let him. You see, Carlos Ruiz that's smart. I mean, he goes out there to look at Eckstein. Carlos Ruiz just went out there. They're not talking about anything. They're just letting him catch his breath from that sprint over there to first base.
It's unbelievable that Eckstein hit the ground with that ball.
Well, he did that the other night. Remember, didn't he get a hit?
Yeah,
on the ball that was on the ground, and they were off Moyer, and they were laughing about it afterwards that he hit it off the ground. It looked like it was on a tee.
Adrian Gonzalez fouls the first pitch off. No balls and 1 strike to count to Gonzalez, who has walked, and he's lined out to center.
Here it is, right here. Look where this pitch is. It's on the ground, though. That literally looks like you put it on a tee and put a 6-iron on it or 7-iron. Par 3.
David Eckstein played for a handful of years with Vladimir Guerrero when they were both with the LA Angels. Guerrero is the best bad ball hitter I think I've ever seen. He would swing at anything. And as Gonzalez rifles that one the opposite way, Ibanez is on the run, and that one is gone. The first hit of the game is a home run for Adrian Gonzalez as he shoots it the opposite way.
That's what Gonzalez can do, boy. He can hurt you in any part of the ballpark. Nice hand for Cole Hamels. Here it comes. Out over the plate a little bit, maybe a cutter. And he is such a good hitter, and he finds one of the short parts of the yard right there and just lines it out.
Cole knew it as soon as he left the bat.
Well, he knew it was a hit, that's for sure. He was hoping it didn't leave the ballpark.
So 1-0 San Diego on the home run by Gonzalez, his 12th of the year. Second one of the series. And Cole goes back to work.
And now you have to just compose yourself. And, you know, which he should be able to do, hopefully. Compose yourself and get after him, stay right where it is, and hope your team can score.
Scott Harrison is 0 for 2. He's flied out, and he's bounced into a double play. There's a good pitch on the inside corner at 92. It's 0-2. Padres come into the series with just 1 home run in the first few days of June. They've hit a few here in this series, and 2 by Gonzalez. in the air to left field. It's going to be back-to-back home runs for the Padres. Scott Hairston follows Adrian Gonzalez's liner with a solo home run of his own. And it's 2-0 San Diego. Seven home runs now for Hairston. And Rich Dubie's going to head out to the mound.
Yeah, they just try and settle him down a little bit right now, because you lose a no-hitter, you lose a shutout, you lose a lead because there were no runs scored until the first home run. I think it may have been a breaking ball. Yep, it's a curve ball and just a spinner, just rolled up there. I mentioned Hairston earlier. Both Hairstons love to pull, especially that Hairston, Scott Hairston. He's strong, and he barrels it right on the barrel. And that's a good swing.
What a reaction by Carlos Ruiz, too, as soon as the ball left the bat.
Well, he wanted to catch it.
Yeah. He just looked down, threw some dust.
Yeah. Well, that made it sound like you knew where that was going. Winder. Well, both those home runs were hit kind of low anyway, so the wind didn't affect them much.
So 2-0 San Diego with one out here in the top of the seventh. Chase Headley is the batter. Hamels' last start here at home was back on the 21st of May against the Red Sox. He allowed one run in a 5-1 victory. He has been really good here in this ballpark this year. And now he needs a little help from his offense. Broke his bat. Slow roller to the mound. Almost had to wait to see where that bat went. It went by the mound. He's done that a few times tonight.
They stuck right in the ground too. Well, LeBlanc is a guy they haven't scored many runs on for years. Team's only scored 4 runs in those 4 losses in the last 4 starts. So tonight now they scored 2. So that's a lot for him.
Jim Joyce takes a look at that baseball. He'll keep it in play. And with 2 outs, here's your Torrealba. Joyce is still picking up pieces of that bat. Fastball high, and it's 1-0 to Torrealba. He grounded to Valdez at shortstop back in the second inning. And Cole got him on strikes his last time up. Cole has struck out 4. Good change up, and it's 1-1. And Scott Hairston has helped the Padres to a 2-0 lead as he went back-to-back with Adrian Gonzalez in this inning. Had Torrealba's number with that soft stuff, hasn't he?
You know, Torrealba's wants to hit a fastball, and he's really thrown good changeups to him. He struck him out on one last time, got him to chase one there. Not chase one. That was a good pitch. That was a strike.
Opposite way with a fastball, and it remains 2 balls and 2 strikes to Torrealba.
That's why he had such a late swing there. Even though he's even in the count and got a fastball, because he's got changeup in his mind. And you saw Hamels shake a couple times too, and that even confused him a little more.
This will be the 100th pitch of the night for Cole.
He's really had good stuff tonight. He's pitched great. Now the only reason his pitch count's so high is all these foul balls again. And he has quite a few games like this where they'll hit a lot of foul balls off him. But it's not because of high fastballs up and away. It's all different pitches they're fouling off tonight.
lines again.
See, that's what I mean. You know, he's had jammers they fouled. They've pulled ground balls down the line. They've had late swings and hit pop-ups. There's his average. His high is 116, tonight 101.
You know, we talk about pitch counts all the time, and it's such a big part of baseball, but sometimes we forget to talk about how you get to your pitch count. This has been somewhat effortless tonight for Cole. I mean, he's worked hard, but he hasn't been in really any jams at all.
No, he hadn't given up a hit till this inning. He walked two, and it's the foul balls is what I'm saying, that he's got his pitch count so high. Another one. Carl Graber usually can come up with that for us too, how many foul balls there are in a game, and he's working on it. A great statistician. Torrealba's hurt Hamels before, and you can tell he's really working on him right now once he get this inning over. And they just can't figure out what they want to do. I don't know whether they're going to have to talk about it or not. A third time now going through the signs. Can't tell what they are because they're using different set right here. Whoop. Now he's going a lot slower. It was interesting. The first two times he was really quick with whatever they were doing, whether it's combinations or whether it's one after a certain sign after a sign that is the one they want. And then he slowed them up for some reason.
You think he just told him what he wanted to throw him there?
Well, yeah, but they'll probably, let's see if he even goes to him. No, they didn't have to. Sometimes they'll even go through him again.
Fastball, and that's going to drop in to right field. Jason Worth is up with it. The throw to first goes right on by Ryan Howard. And what a play by Ruiz to be like a hockey goalie and kick that away from the stairs and keep it in play. Because that would have put Torrealba up into scoring position.
Torrealba as a catcher, doesn't run all that well. And it looked like Worth had a shot at him for a while. And then at the end, he really didn't. But he fires it. And watch what happens as Tom described it. Here comes Jason. Now he comes up right there and thinks he's got a shot at him. Ryan Howard has no chance to catch it. Let's see where you pick up Ruiz right here. He's right by the dugout, and right there, as Tom said, he kicked it, and it hit the netting down there as opposed to going down the steps for an extra base.
And now Cole's falling behind Oscar Salazar's. Carlos is looking over to the dugout to see if they want to throw over. Torrealba's got a very small lead. 2-0 the count. Salazar grounded out to Chase is in the third inning. And then flied out to Jason Worth his last time up 0 for 2.
You win.
They'll appeal. No, they won't. Carlos Ruiz wanted to. I just assumed that Jim Joyce would ask Jim Wolf.
I guess he didn't go.
Line drive caught out of the air by Polanco. A spinning grab to finish up the top of the 7th inning. But the Padres strike first. Their first hit of the game, a home run by Adrian Gonzalez, and then a home run by Scott Hairston back-to-back to give the Padres a 2-0 lead. Question again. What Philly turned the first triple play at Veterans Stadium on August 28, 1991 against his former team, the Padres?
First inning on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. 2 men on.
Wow, you even knew the day.
3-2 count in the first inning on Tony Gwynn. And the ball was hit to Spiky, Randy Reddy at second base. He goes over. He's got 2 guys standing there. All he do is tag both of them, step it, whatever. He tagged one of them. Then he threw back to Ricky Jordan at first base. They said, why didn't you just do it yourself for an unassisted triple play? He said, I want to get Ricky Jordan in on it. That's how I remember it.
Well, Randy Reddy is the correct answer, and I don't know, how can you argue with all that description of it?
Well, it may be wrong.
Yeah, but it's a good story.
It's a great story, but, we'll check. Somebody will check on it, but that's pretty close, I think. There's Spiky right there. Randy Reddy, one of the great guys in the game, who's been a minor league manager for a few years for San Diego. Now they're hitting coach, and that guy's going to manage in the big league someday. He's had 2 interviews.
Well, log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack, and thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. So, Wheels, I like when you have the answers, and you have such clarity on those answers, as Tony Gwynn is in center and Scott Harrison's over in left.
Well, as most of this business, Tom, it's all in the delivery. So we'll see how much of that was right. But it's one of the reasons why a lot of managers will not run 3-2 count with nobody out and 2 men on base, for that reason of what happened that Sunday afternoon, a line drive triple play.
Ryan Howard tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. And he lines one to center right at Tony Gwynn Jr., who may have misread it, but still had time to recover and make the catch. Well, Cole Hamels has allowed 2 hits tonight, or 3 hits tonight. 2 have come on solo home runs by Adrian Gonzalez and Scott Harrison. He's pitched exceptionally well. And the problem is that he trails at 2-0. That bullpen is not heated up at all at this point. Really no reason to think that they would. But while he trails at 2-0, Wade LeBlanc, who has really struggled lately for the Padres, has settled in quite nicely and has not allowed a base runner since there was 1 out in the 3rd. That was a single to Shane Victorino. That's it.
4 singles.
He's retired 12 in a row. Jason has grounded out twice, once to a double play and the other time to shortstop. Cue shot up the first base line. Gonzalez waits for it, and they're 2 away. Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Two away, and Raul Ibanez is the batter. Raul has one of the 4 hits for the Phils. It was a single to start the 2nd. And he was doubled up. Two balls and no strikes, the count to LeBlanc, who is still 9 pitches shy of 100 for the night. He began the year with 2 wins in his first 5 games. He had 3 no decisions in the first 5 games after being called up from the minor leagues. Is zeroing in on his average, but is still a few pitches away from his high for the year. 3-1 the count. Carlos Ruiz waits on deck. Swing and a miss and a high fastball. Ibanez goes down swinging for the final out here in the 7th inning. The Phillies go down in order for the 4th consecutive inning. 14 straight retired by Wade LeBlanc. There's number 14 as we go to the 8th. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Quality Plus Ford dealers, by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF-NOW. And by Xfinity. It's TV, phone, and internet reinvented from Comcast. Inside Citizens Bank Park, it's a 2-0 Padres lead as we go to the 8th. Chris Denorfia leads it off for the Padres. Wade LeBlanc is not in the on-deck circle. Lance Zawatsky is out of the on-deck circle for the Padres. So that looks like LeBlanc's night is done, and they'll go to the pen. There's Zawatsky. Phillies have David Herndon and Antonio Bastardo loosening up. Ball popped in underneath the face mask of Carlos Ruiz. Gregerson is up and loosening. There's LeBlanc. Another broken bat. Look out. Boy, the top of that bat went right into the stands.
Boy, that was nasty.
He has shattered so many bats tonight, but that one went spinning into the stands. I think everybody's okay. And Denorfia goes back and gets a new piece of wood.
Watch this thing, that barrel. This thing goes flying, and it went right into the Diamond Club seats, just to the left of the screen. And you see, there it goes. It went flying right by there. You see how quick that was. And that would have hit them before they put their heads down.
Yeah. 1-2 the count to Denorfia, and it's 2-2.
That's how little time you had to move on that. And boy, everybody's okay down there too.
69th sellout here at the ballpark, but there is an open area, not an open seat, but an open area down at the Diamond Club, and the bat landed right in the middle of two fans. Another good pitch by Hamels, and a swing and a miss for the first out here in the 8th. 69th straight, as we said, sellout here at the ballpark. 45,000 plus. They've watched a heck of a pitcher's duel, but they'd love for the Phillies to be on the other end of this pitcher's duel. But they just haven't been able to muster much offense against Wade LeBlanc. Look how great the park looks with all these sights, all these shots that we have. So Zawatsky pinch hits. He's a .217 hitter overall. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. There's LeBlanc, who threw 95 pitches, 60 of those pitches strikes. 2-2 the count.
Cole Hamels' pitch count now up to 117. He's thrown, and 21 of them are foul balls at this point. So, you know, that really adds to a guy's pitch count throughout the game when you have that many foul balls.
Swing and a miss, and he's got back-to-back strikeouts here in the 8th inning. 6 strikeouts overall for Cole. Mentioned before that the Atlanta Braves and the Phillies will get together the next time here in Philadelphia beginning Monday, July 5th. That's a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. Smiley, who's here tonight, will be here again. Tuesday the 6th is the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 98 Charlie Manuel Louisville Slugger Bet for fans 14 and under. Get your tickets now by logging on to Phillies.com. As fans are eyeing up the wave that's going on here at the ballpark. As Jerry Hairston takes one at the knees for a strike. Well, he is still dealing even here in the 8th inning, and he's thrown 120 pitches. I mean, good velocity, good location.
Well, they're trying to give him a chance to win this game is what they're doing here. Besides giving him another inning in the ball game. Because if he can come out of this game, you know, still as a pitcher of record and they can go ahead in the 8th inning, he has a chance to win the game. If he had hit for him here, all he could do was lose it.
His ERA is dropped tonight, but he trails at 2-0 here in the top of the 8th.
Not hit for him, but if he'd have brought another pitcher in.
In the air to left field, Ibanez has room under it. And it's a 1-2-3 8th inning for Cole Hamels. This is probably his final inning since he's due up 3rd in the bottom of the 8th. He's allowed just 2 runs tonight. He's pitched well. The Phils trail it by 2. Wade LeBlanc went 7 innings, didn't allow a run, 4 hits tonight, 2 strikeouts. Wheels, they had a chance in the first inning, but this is what happened to end the first.
Yeah, bases loaded, 1 out. Jason Worth hit a changeup. They turned it into a double play. It was really close, and then bad base running here on the part of Raul Ibanez, who knew that he made a mistake, and then a fastball right down the middle to Ruiz, and then Raul chases a high fastball there and strikes out. So LeBlanc, he pitched exactly the way the scouting report said he would pitch, and he did a very good job tonight of retiring hitters.
And Luke Gregerson takes over here in the 8th inning. 27th game for Gregerson. 1 win, 1 loss, a 1.53 earned run average. The Padres have the best bullpen in the National League statistically, and they showed it yesterday. They had 8 1/3 scoreless innings against the Phillies.
This is another guy who throws a lot of sliders.
Carlos Ruiz is the first batter, and there is that slider. That's 1-0.
He lives or dies with a breaking ball.
Cole Hamels' night is done. There's his final line. Boy, he was really, really good tonight.
Yeah, he was from the first inning, but they didn't score for him, and that makes it a little tough to win.
Greg Dobbs has come out of the on-deck circle for the Phils. Another slider. That one's over for a strike. It's 1-1. There's Dobbs.
You go up there as a hitter, it's tough. He has enough fastball to get you too, but he's going to throw sliders.
A liner toward right to Northfield. And there's one away here in the 8th inning. And that'll bring Greg Dobbs to the plate. Wheels, we didn't mention this before. We want to send our condolences out as Danny Baez loosens up in the pen to former Philly pitcher Tommy Green and his family. Tommy lost his wife Lori over the last day or so after a long battle with cancer, and great family. Tommy's such a wonderful guy. Lori was a sweetheart, and our best and our heartfelt wishes go out toward Tommy Green and his family.
Yeah, Lori's a nice lady. Got to know her well, and they were around. They were funny. Greeny's nickname was Jethro, and he was a Jethro if there ever was one. And he had Jethro 1 as his license plate, and Lori's license plate said Jethro 2. They were good, great couple.
Greg Dobbs pinch hits for the Phillies, and he takes a fastball low. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Dobbs has just 1 hit this year as a pinch hitter. Overall, he has 8 hits. And he pulls that one toward first. Adrian Gonzalez has cleaned up over at first base this evening. 2 away. With 2 outs, Ross Glode will pinch hit for the Phillies. Juan Castro, you would assume, will come in to play shortstop. So Charlie Manuel will use 3 moves with these 2 pinch hit appearances. And then Danny Baez will pitch the top of the 9th inning. Glode has 2 pinch hit home runs this season. Boy, Gregerson has thrown sliders in all different parts of the strike zone.
Yeah, he got an out on Carlos Ruiz on a 2-strike fastball after sliders. But, left-handed hitters come up, they get sliders. Oh, he doesn't. Look at that. Man, how about that command? For a late-inning relief pitcher. Wow.
Figure the pressure would get to him at least once.
Yeah. Pitch around somebody, intentionally walk somebody.
And there's a liner toward right to Northfield coming on. He dives and he makes the catch. A 1-2-3 inning for the Phils here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Northfield closes out Ross Glode's at bat as he comes diving in to take this one away from Glode. Take a base hit away for the Phils pitch hitter. last night's loss and look ahead to Wednesday's Game 6. And the Eagles get back to work with OTAs. Get all the news, Philly fans need to know on Toyota Sports Night. That's tonight at 10 on Comcast Sportsnet. Juan Castro is the new shortstop for the Phillies. He'll take over for Wilson Valdez, with Greg Dobbs pinch hit for him. Danny Baez, who suffered the loss in yesterday's game, comes on to pitch the top of the ninth here. Phillies trail at 2-0, and Baez will face David Eckstein, Adrian Gonzalez, and Scott Hairston. And he delivers a pitch for a strike to Eckstein, who is 0 for 3. He has grounded out 3 times. Back toward the middle, over the glove of Baez, but Chase Utley is there. 1 away. So Eckstein has been retired now 4 times on groundouts. Rich Doobie was talking about Danny Baez the other day, and he said how impressive it is how Danny has, kind of taken Jose Contreras, a close friend of his from when they were in Cuba together, and has really shown him the ropes of being a relief pitcher. Rich said it's amazing because in Cuba, Baez would kind of follow Jose Contreras around because Jose was kind of the king. And here in the States, Danny has such a command of the English language. He's an unbelievably intelligent fellow that it's a different story.
And it's a different role for Contreras, as you say, to go in the bullpen and learn to be a relief pitcher after you've been a starting pitcher your whole career. And he needed somebody to help him. And with the language problem there, it obviously really helps that that he speaks Spanish with it.
Well, he's fallen behind Gonzalez, 3-0 here in the top of the ninth inning. And there's a strike, and it's 3-1. Adrian Gonzalez is the difference in this game. An opposite field home run in the 7th was the first hit of the night for the Padres in the first run. There's Jose Contreras, who has settled back into the 8th inning setup role. These guys are always working before the game, trying to fine-tune their skills in the pen. By the way, Wheels, we understand that at 9:25 Eastern Time, the Philadelphia Phillies are on the clock in the first round of the MLB draft.
It'd be interesting to see who they come up with. Have a first-round pick this year, which is nice.
Bryce Harper went #1 overall to the Washington Nationals. Not a big surprise. He's a kid who they've been writing about for over a year. Big story on him in Sports Illustrated over a year ago.
Another guy we'll get to see in our division. This division's turning into a pretty good division with young players. Stanton, the Florida Marlins supposed to call Stanton up, and we'll see if he plays here tomorrow night.
In the air down the left field line, Gonzalez. We'll watch that one go foul, and it remains 3-2.
Michael Stanton, who is a tremendous hitting prospect for Florida, and it was a matter of time that they brought him up, and evidently he's going to be tomorrow.
I guess he's going to play left field for them.
Well, have to see the move they're going to make, whether it be Coughlin or not, who's been struggling a little bit, or whether they go in another area with a pitcher. I don't know.
Again to left field. Towering shot. Raul is back, and he is not going to get there. Second home run of the night for Gonzalez. An opposite field shot, and it's 3-0 San Diego.
Home runs you'd think he hit if he played here.
Over that flower bed?
The way he hits the ball to left field. Man. And he can pull them and hit long ones, too, the other way. He has such great plate coverage. It looked like that pitch was supposed to be in on him a little bit. He gets extended. And Ibanez can't quite get to it. And it's just over the fence.
That guy got the ball and some flowers, and the ball came back onto the field. Scott Hairston's now the hitter. He followed the last home run by Gonzalez with a home run of his own.
Padres are not a team you necessarily expect to lose to by the home run ball.
That one's just over the mound. It'll be a tough play. Utley bare hands and throws, and it's wide of Ryan Howard. And Hairston's aboard. A 1-out single. Now San Diego, as we mentioned, came into this game with just 1 home run in June. And 37 home runs overall.
Well, they play in the Grand Canyon in that ballpark. There's in San Diego, really difficult home run park. You know, those balls Gonzalez just hit, you know, he knows they're doubles at home. So, you know, he takes advantage of his stroke, of hitting it the other way, and picks up a couple home runs here tonight.
Well, they have 5 homers in the last 3 games, and he has 3 of those home runs.
He is really a good player. You know, you don't hear that much about him because he plays on the West Coast, you know, and the game starts so late. He's playing in San Diego. But that guy is special.
0-1 the count to Chase Headley. He's 0 for 3. Good breaking pitch, and it's 0-2. Towards second base, might be 2. Utley's got it to second for 1. Castro to first, not in time. They get the lead runner. A lot had to happen for Chase to kind of set himself and get that throw over quickly to second base. And Headley was running from the left side, so that was a disadvantage. 2 away here in the 9th. Here's your Vitor Alba. 1 for 3 tonight. Phillies have been shut out 6 times this year. Five times in the final 8 days of May. And they're trailing at 3-0 tonight. They got a great pitching performance from Cole Hamels, who went the first 8. Cole allowed just 2 runs on 3 hits. Ruiz tries to throw behind Headley, and he gets back standing. Alba's late on that. It's 1-2. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be the top of the order that'll be up for the Phillies. Shane Victorino, Placido Polanco, and Chase Utley. Shane's got 2 hits tonight, so he's going to try to jumpstart this offense. But Baez needs to get this final out here. Runner goes. The pitch is high. The throw to second base, right in line, and Headley is a dead duck. Carlos Ruiz fires right to the base path. The inning is over. A home run by Adrian Gonzalez means the Phils will go to the bottom of the 9th, down 3.
a left-handed pitcher from Germantown Friends School, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
So Jesse Biddle, who said today in the papers that he would be excited if the Phillies would take him in the first round. He said he likes California, loves the West Coast, but it would be great if his hometown team would take him, and they did in the first round. Jesse, who stands 6'5", 235 pounds, from Germantown Friends, a fastball that has been clocked at times at 96 miles per hour, but it averages between 91 and 93. A left-handed pitcher who had a boatload of strikeouts this year. He's supposed to go to the University of Oregon on a baseball scholarship, and it looks like he is going to play for his hometown Philadelphia Phillies.
Keith Bell comes into the game. That's really neat to draft a kid from your own area, #1 like that. And wow, that would be great if he could make the ball club eventually, and pitch in this ballpark. And he's a Phillies fan. Well, you figure he's a Phillies fan. Read so much about him this year in the sports section of the Inquirer and Daily News. And there's of course a Philadelphia area product who was drafted by the Cubs, Jamie Moore.
We begin the bottom of the ninth inning. Phillies trail at 3-0. Heath Bell is on to try to close it for a second straight day. Bell has had only one 1-2-3 save opportunity this year.
Well, he was an adventure here yesterday, but got out of it.
Bell with 15 saves, and he is fidgety.
And he's a breaking ball pitcher.
Comes back with a second fastball, and it's 1-1.
Throws what they call a curve, but it's kind of in between. Well, the executive booth is kind of busy tonight.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Victorino has singled twice. He's grounded back to the pitcher. Bell yesterday got the save, but the inning was loaded with base runners. That's a great number, and that's usually the number of a team that's in first place. We're close to it. Bud Black, his team 27-1 when they lead after the 8th inning.
That's because of that great bullpen.
Bell has blown 2 saves this year. Saved 42 games last year for San Diego. That's what Shane has done against him this season, or during his career. And a swing and a miss and a breaking ball. Torrealba fires to first, 1 out here in the bottom of the ninth. The hard part about these offensive woes that the Phillies have had since the 15th of May, they've carried over to June, is that they have had so many really good starting pitching performances, including tonight. Cole Hamels allowed 2 runs over 8 innings. Danny Baez allowed a run in the top of the ninth, but
yeah, and when you only give up 3 and you're in the 9th inning at home, you think you still have a heck of a chance to win the game. And there's still 2 outs to go in this one.
Here's Placido Polanco, 1 for 3. Polanco takes one at the knees for a strike. He walked yesterday against Bell. Overall, he's 1 for 4. Outside, 1-1 the count. San Diego will head to New York after this series. The Phillies welcome in the Florida Marlins.
The Marlins had a nice off day here today. Beautiful day in Philadelphia.
Up high, 2-1 the count. mentioned this earlier in the series. There's been so much talk about Heath Bell and Adrian Gonzalez, what their availability would be on the open market. We said it. The Padres are in first place in the division. You wouldn't think that they would be available if they continue to hold on to first place. Polanco loops one it to left, and he is aboard with one away here in the 9th inning. Nothing's ever that clean for Heath Bell. That's a good thing for the Phillies right now. Well, this game will encore tonight at 10:30 on the Comcast Network. And the Phillies coverage on Comcast Sportsnet continues Tuesday as the Marlins come to town. Catch Phillies pregame live Tuesday night at 6:30 right here on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies need another base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Chase is flying out twice, once to left, once to right. He's also grounded out. Blanco being shadowed by Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, they're much more concerned now in a 3-run game about taking the hole away from Utley than worrying about Polanco at first base. So you'll see Gonzalez will jump off the bag pretty quickly and not even hold him on, trying to take the hole away. The reason for that is a single brings a tying run to the plate. They're not worried about an extra base hit here necessarily. Now, it would be totally different the way they would play this inning if they hadn't picked up that 3rd run.
There's Matt Stairs, who has not been utilized tonight by the Padres. One ball, one strike, the count to Chase. And a swing and a miss at a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Chase is a little late on that one. It's 1-2. Opposite way for Chase. On the run. And over toward the line is Hairston to make the catch. 2 away. And Polanco goes back to first. Phillies down to their final out here in the bottom of the 9th inning. They're in trouble splitting the series after taking the first 2.
You would think their game plan here would be to go get Howard. Even though Jason Worth is struggling, he would be the tying run. So if Howard hits a 2-run home run, they're still up by a run with 2 outs and nobody on base. And when you say go after him with Heath Bell, go after him may mean curveballs, because that's his best pitch. It's not like you're pitching around him or not trying to challenge him if you throw him breaking balls from a guy like Bell.
Polanco goes, not being held on. He'll get to second without a throw. So he's in scoring position. I guess, too, Wheels, is that you want to go after him and not allow Jason, who has pop, to come to the plate as the potential tying run.
Right. You really don't ever want to allow that tying run to come to the plate if you can avoid it, especially if it's a guy who can hit the ball of the ballpark.
Ryan hits it the opposite way. Hairston on the run toward the corner, and he dropped the ball. It's off his glove. Polanco's going to score. The tying run is going to come to the plate.
That ball was slicing. It had top spin. It was really a tough play for Hairston, and it looked like he was going to pull it off anyway. He's playing Howard to pull. He hurt his foot or his leg or something as he went into the corner for that. That's a really difficult play. He says he's all right.
Well, they've scored it a double for Ryan, an RBI. 41 ribbies now for Ryan Howard as Polanco scored easily.
Here it is. It is a fastball, too, and Ryan hits it down the line. Look at all that top spin on it. It's coming down in a hurry. It's slicing. He just about gets there and then can't make the play. So you get the tying run now. Ryan Howard had to do a little stutter step there so he wouldn't miss first.
Jason tonight is 0 for 3. He's grounded out 3 different times. A swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. The Phillies won't be shut out for a 7th time. Now they're trying to tie this ball game up. Two at the knees, according to the home plate umpire Jim Joyce. Back-to-back fastballs for Bell. His out pitch is his curve. Sarge mentioned before, Joyce has been calling the low strike.
Well, we talked about it early in the game that he had a big plate. Not a big plate, but it was liberal, and he stayed with it the whole game. Good swing at that. He keeps throwing in fastballs too. It's surprising. He has a great fastball. But Worth's been getting overpowered a little bit lately, and maybe that's what they're figuring. They're going to throw fastballs. Boy, it's a tough spot for Jason to be in because this guy has a tremendous hook. It's not like you can even think about sitting on his breaking ball with that kind of cheese.
Howard leads off second. Another fastball. And it's 1-2. He got him on a fastball to finish yesterday's ball game. That's what he's thinking.
Sure.
Polanco has scored in the inning on a double by Ryan Howard.
They're really deep in the outfield, of course, because they're trying to prevent an extra base hit to let the tying run get to second. So Howard can score on any base hit. Make it 3-2. They're not worried about him. That run doesn't mean that much. So what means a lot to them is trying to get Jason Worth out or to keep him out of scoring position.
Another fastball, another one out of the zone. 2-2 the count.
Here's the game yesterday, how it ended with a high fastball, and that's what they're doing right now is throwing high fastballs and trying to get him to chase, and Jason is not. And he's such a good low ball hitter, they're trying to stay out of that area.
2-2 the count to Jason Worth.
Another one.
I think it gets tougher and tougher if you're a hitter because you're probably thinking, well, he's got to throw me a curve at some point. And Torrialba's going out, bringing everybody in except for the third baseman Chase Headley. Adrian Gonzalez started it. Now he stays over toward first.
Well, it's hard to figure. It's like they changed the signs just then because the middle infielders are talking to each other. And positioning isn't that big a deal right now. But they do want to know what the guy's going to throw. Maybe they think Ryan Howard's giving location or something down there. Anyway, look, it just looked like they changed the signs.
Swing and a miss. He got him on a high fastball. He kept going back to the well. And he finally got Jason Worth on strikes to finish off this 9th inning. Second straight game that Bell has come on to pick up the save. And second straight time he's gotten Jason Worth swinging on strikes to end the ball game. Our Chevy player of the game is Wade LeBlanc, who went 7 innings tonight, allowed 4 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. He worked out of a bases loaded